So, before I get started, I got a little story for you guys. So I actually watched this movie last night, and I tried to record this video last night, but didn't happen. And I have no hesitation in telling you, this is one of the best films I have ever seen in my entire life, and I actually was very affected by this film for quite a long time after I got done watching it. So naturally, I paced around in circles for over an hour because I was so emotionally affected and I was trying to figure out, what should I say in this review? What should I say? How am I gonna do the intro and do all that stuff, right? And so then I did it, I recorded it, poured my soul out for a good 20 plus minutes of trying to make this video, and you know what? I looked down and I found out the little switch on my lapel microphone was not turned on. Oh! If there's anybody out there that doesn't know the definition of the word frustrating, pretty sure I just gave it to you on a silver platter. Cue the music. What's up, everybody? How's it going? How you doing? Welcome back and all that. So the trial of the Chicago 7, and this will be round 2 for me, so let's get into it. And another funny story about this movie is that the real plot twist didn't come until after the movie was over and I watched the end credits, because I found out who the writer and the director of this movie was, and all of a sudden everything made sense. Because when Aaron fucking Sorkin writes a movie, I am wholly interested. And if you don't know who Aaron Sorkin is, The West Wing. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. Meanwhile, he also wrote A Few Good Men, Charlie Wilson's War, Molly's Game that came out a couple years ago. The guy's basically a legend. That's all you need to know. And if you couldn't already tell by the title of the movie, yes, this movie is about the trial of the Chicago 7. And it's about the 7, possibly 8 people that were indicted because they were charged with inciting a big riot that happened in 1968 in Chicago. And the unrest was essentially brought about because there was an anti-war protest going on outside the Democratic National Convention, I believe it was. And then things escalated, things got crazy, and then, that's what the movie's about, really. And the vast majority of the film takes place in the courtroom, and if there's anybody that knows how to write a courtroom drama, it's Aaron fucking Sorkin. But I'm glad I didn't know he was involved until after the movie was over, because that would have hyped me up way too much, and it might have warped my entire perspective of the movie. Because although I did like Molly's Game, that was the first time Aaron Sorkin directed a full film, if I remember correctly, and I thought it was like, everything was good, but it was only firing at about 80%. However, this movie, vast improvement in almost every aspect. I think the acting was better, the pace of the movie was better, the arrangement of some of the the flashback scenes was better, and the movie also took its time exploring not just the Chicago 7, but it also explored some of the people on the other side and some of the ins and outs between their political leanings or whatever they were, motivated to do. And on top of that, the movie just has a belligerently awesome cast. Probably the 2 biggest names in the entire movie were Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Sacha Baron Cohen. And I swear to God, if Sacha Baron Cohen ever goes like straight drama in a movie, that dude's gonna have an Academy Award eventually one day, maybe when he's older, I swear. And besides that, it's just a murderer's row of great actors, because you got Mark Rylance, who plays Bill Kunstler, and then Frank Langella plays the judge, and then Eddie Redmayne plays one of the 7 also. And there's Yahya Mateen, who was in that Watchmen HBO series, and then there's a whole bunch of other no-name faces that you probably recognize. Probably the best performance and the best written character, in my opinion, was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Because he plays one of the prosecuting lawyers, but it shows how he really is a good dude, but he's trying to work for his boss, and he's just trying to be the most ethical human being in the history of the world. While simultaneously, he feels a lot of remorse because he knows that there's no evil people in that courtroom necessarily, or at least, at least he hopes there isn't. And of course, because the movie's written by Sorkin, he takes every aspect of the movie and just picks it apart until there's nothing left. And he did a wonderful job of that. Quite specifically, he did a great job highlighting the fact that a lot of these guys that were, a part of the 7, they're kind of on the same side, but not really. Like Eddie Redmayne's character is like a very straightforward, let's do everything by the book. Like, I have this ideology, but we're gonna do everything, we're gonna go through the proper channels. And the movie touches just a little bit on the Black Panthers that are kind of off in the peripheral, but it doesn't beat you over the head with anything like that, which I thought was crafty. And then you have Sacha Baron Cohen's character, who's just a straight up long-haired free love hippie, who, again, is kind of allied with some of the other characters, but he's a little bit more extreme and a little bit more fast and loose as far as everything goes, and he's like foul-mouthed, and he's not the best representative of those same goals that everybody has. And with all the chemistry that everybody had, and just the way that all these, personal character dynamics played out, it was just so well done. And I don't remember any of the music that was in the movie, which is a good sign, because that means it blended in with the narrative and it didn't try and take any of your attention away from the actual story. And I'm not sure if I said this already, but the movie is very well edited. And I kind of said it before, but when I said that this movie really affected me, It absolutely did. And it's partially because a lot of the themes that are touched upon in this movie are very, very relevant to what we're dealing with today in a lot of respects. There's a lot of differences in ideologies in comparison from now to back then, but a lot of the principles kind of remain the same. And I can't remember the last time I saw a movie where I felt this encouraged to just fist pump for America. Because one of the realities about life is there are some awful people in the world, but there's also some really, really good people in the world. And even when there are these awful people in the world, the idea behind America is that when that happens, you are allowed to speak about how awful those people are, and you're allowed to stand up against how awful those people are. And this movie really, really highlighted the fact that it really doesn't matter what side of the aisle, what side of the fence, how old you are, it doesn't matter. There is always, always, always room for compassion. And if there is no compassion being had, then you need to say something. However, the method in which you stand up for what is right, that can get you into trouble sometimes. And this movie kind of tells you about that. And the ending of this movie, it was just, I've never been more proud of my country watching a film, I don't think. And if I have, it's been a very long time, so kudos to this movie. But anyway, guys, if you couldn't already tell, I fucking love this movie, and I highly recommend it. And the movie may be a fairly complex courtroom drama, so that might not be everybody's cup of tea necessarily, but for me, personally, it was just right. That being said, I think for a score out of 10, this movie gets a hefty 9.6. I may lower that score one day because, you know, there's a recency bias, but I've had a whole day to sit on it, and you know what? This movie's solid enough to build a house on. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Have you even heard of it? Do you know anything about the actual event that happened? Hop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, do all that other YouTube-y type of shit, and I will catch you guys next time.